Hi, everyone. Welcome to Levels, and we have a supersized show for you. Uh, but we're going to get to that in just a second. My name is Jeremy Long, joined as always by the sportsnista Cassandra Cusino. Cece, how are you on this lovely Las Vegas afternoon?
Pretty awesome. It is St. Patrick's Day.
It
People
is.
having corned beef sandwiches, but we're giving you knuckle sandwiches today. Hey, Ralph! Oh my goodness, man, we gotta get to Ralph in a little bit because Ralph been on vacation. He been working and having work vacations too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That he never stops. So when he does go on vacation, it's good to see him relax for a little bit because my man hustles
hmm
24/7, kind of like Mike Dixon, another guy we know. But different levels to this.
There's levels to this. Levels to this.
We have a couple of guests. They're very exciting, and we are happy to have them because they are part of Lou DiBella's DiBella Entertainment's uh, new program. It's going to be all female boxing based. It's going to be quarterly, especially coming off the heels of the pay per view that it was headlined by Clarissa Shields. It's a really exciting time to see some progress in the women's boxing divisions. And our first guest is Mikiah Kreps, who is coming off her fresh debut TKO victory over Noli Romero. And I know she is chomping at the bit to lace them back up and get right back into it. So without further ado, let's welcome her in. There she is. She looks ready to
How you
go.
doing?
What's going on? How are you? How are things going? I know you are getting ready to step back between the ropes and do your thing, but how are things progressing so far with you?
Everything is good. I'm just training hard. I'm ready to get back in the ring April 23rd, and we're just ready to go.
Now,
It's a
when
really impressive
go
lineup
ahead.
that you're part of.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's an honor to be on a champ Heather Hardy's undercard and be a part of such a big woman's card, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Did you get the opportunity to watch the pay per view with Clarissa Shields and all the other ladies?
Yeah, I actually did. I caught some of the fights, and I think having these women cards are it's definitely headed in the right direction. It's a good thing for women's boxing for sure.
No, when I guess looking at it, is it one of those things that to be saying? I guess in the year 2021, the first all female fight card, the first all female quarterly series going on. Is it one of those things that is kind of long overdue for your profession?
Oh yeah, I believe so. I think that us women, we deserve the opportunities just like the men to fight on these big cards, and I believe that it's getting better with promoters like Lou DiBella taking the chance on
Mhm.
women, and I believe that we're headed in the right direction.
Lou DiBella has actually been one of the promoters who not just took a chance on women's boxing, but actually believes in it. It's not just a money thing for him. He does his research on his fighters, and it seems like he's very emotionally invested in you all. When the opportunity came up, were you aware of that, or were you just like, man, no matter who it is, let's go?
Well, yeah, my managers presented me the opportunity, and they told me that an all women's fight card was in the works, and I got a slot on that show, and yeah, we went from there.
Now, I mean, full disclosure, we've been hearing about you for a minute, okay? Because
Yeah,
one of your managers, Jamel Herring, is a friend of the
yeah,
show. We're not supposed to have favorites, but we do, okay? Jamel is a
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
around here, period.
Oh yeah,
Tell us,
yeah. Jamel is loved by many.
Mm.
I mean, because he's a real dude, has come through the fire, produces in the ring, and is actually a genuinely good individual. How did that partnership come about for you? Because I know you're. We're going to back up a little bit to talk about how you started boxing, but who introduced you to Jamel?
Actually, JC, he introduced me to Jamel. JC was following me for quite some time on Instagram, and after the Olympic trials and things didn't end up going my way, he shot me a message and he said, "Hey, when you're ready to go pro, me and my business partner Jamel like to be a part of your career. You know, we've been following you for a while. We like what we see, and whenever you're ready, let us know. We would love to help you out. And it kind of just happened organically like that. And you know, we teamed up, and I spoke to both of them, and we were all on the same page immediately. You know, they had the same vision that I had, and we all just clicked, and everything just flowed naturally.
Now we know where you are. I want to talk about how you got here. I'm in a couple of different boxing rooms on Facebook and kind of, you know,
Okay.
in the social media universe, and people are talking about you. People
Oh yeah.
are not just talking about kind of your potential. They love your intensity. I was cracking up because somewhere on your Instagram page, you wrote like a rare photo of me smiling.
Oh yeah.
Where's the intensity come from? How did you start boxing?
Yeah, like mainly my Instagram, all my social media is pretty much, you know, boxing. So, you know, I try to show a little bit of me outside of the boxing world, but like I said, like I eat, sleep, and breathe boxing. It's my life, and I take my sport very seriously.
Very serious. Rare boxing smiling photos, man.
Oh
That's
yeah.
old school throwbacks. That's old
Yeah,
school.
so yeah, when I get dressed up, you know, throw a little bit of makeup on, people are like, "Wow," because you know they're always seeing me in gym clothes or in the gym. So, you know, I try to show a little bit of another side to me.
With your sport, and there's always two camps. There's the camps that believe that women need to kind of lean into a little bit of their looks in order to get attention and get followings. And then there's the other side that says no, it's 100% about your skill in the ring and everything. As a participant, as someone who does this for a living, what are your feelings on it? Is it necessary? Is it something you even really think about or anything like that?
Um, Me personally, I don't think so. I mean, I'm pretty chill and laid back, and I'm just myself at all times. You know, I think that when I step in the ring and every time I fight, I'm gonna win the fans over by my performances. I don't believe that I have to be anybody that I'm not. So, you know, at all times I'm always being myself. If I want to dress up and put a little bit of makeup on, I'll do that. But if I want to have my hair up and wear sweatpants, I'll do that as well. So I believe that, you know, my fighting is gonna speak for me, and that's gonna say everything.
I
Sorry,
believe that
I'm
your
going through
mom
some of
does.
this stuff. I'm looking,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Instagram,
no,
yes,
you're
it is.
absolutely true. You're not a whole lot of smiling pictures. Would it piss you off when people say, "Hey, you need to smile more"? Or, oh, hey,
No,
why don't you smile more?
no, actually, a lot of people that don't know me, they said that they thought that I was mean, like before they met me, but I'm totally opposite. I'm very friendly, and as soon as I start talking to people, I mean, I'm smiling right away. You know, I get along with everybody. It was like that in school, and it's like that to this day. You know, I get along with pretty much everyone, and I don't know. I just don't smile much in pictures.
I think that's a
I
great.
don't either. Actually, I
It's
don't
I,
yeah,
either.
it's just not I don't know. It's just I just
No,
do it. I don't
it's
know.
some people out there smiling at everybody, and then there's other people who don't smile at everybody like a damn
Yeah.
fool. Which is funny because I mean, Jamel Herring is one of those guys who is always smiling. I mean, you can't take
Oh
the smile
yeah.
off that man's face, and you know he's managing and proteging here. Someone that intensity, man. I love that. It's old school. It's like, I'm here to hit you, man. I don't
Yeah,
that.
like I said, when I'm in the ring and I'm getting ready for fights, it's all business. But outside of the ring, like I said, I get along with everybody.
So I've been reading about how your mom is your manager. She's still your manager?
Yeah, my mom is my coach as well.
Hmm.
So how did you start boxing, and is it your mom who introduced you to the sport?
Yeah, well, long story short, my mom actually started boxing just to get in shape. I was about 5 years old, and she's a registered nurse as well, and she never had no intentions on fighting and competing, and she she eventually did, and she did well, and she won a couple national golden gloves and Empire State Games here in New York back when that was a thing, and I was always around the
Mm-hmm.
gym with her as a kid, and being 5 years old in the gym with her, I was always around it, and I kind of just stuck with it. It's an unusual story because you don't really hear, you know, mother daughter duo. So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and I had my first fight at 9, and I stuck with it and been doing it ever since.
It was your first organized fight at 9. Did you have any other fights before you got into the ring?
Oh, no. 9 years old was my first competition. But I remember sparring at 6 and 7 in the gym. I used to always spar with all the boys, and my first actual competition was at 9 years old.
Your mom is a registered nurse, and you being a professional fighter, both of you have to be very conscious of this COVID world. And if it's affecting both of you differently, I would imagine. What's it been like to go through this past year with your mother on the medical side and you as a professional athlete?
We just been making the best out of it this whole time, taking the right precautions and just doing our part and doing what we had to do. We were safe from the beginning, and she worked front line dealing with the COVID patients, and it her her being a nurse, I think she kind of looked at it from a different perspective. I know a lot of people were freaking out, not wanting to leave their houses and not going anywhere. We still tried to keep everything pretty normal with our training, but kind of distance ourselves from everyone. We were doing a lot of training outside, like
Mm.
even before the weather broke. So the whole pandemic, I kind of took it as like a whole training camp, and I didn't slack off. And I knew a lot of people, they were falling off and not training, but I was training at home, and I kind of never stopped. We were still doing our own thing and just kind of making the best out of it.
Man, mama can put those hands on you. Was it added incentive to keep you in line if you were just like, yeah, no, I've seen what she did to the heavy bag today, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get to that homework now.
Yeah, she we're a great team. We can butt heads a lot. I feel like just as any parent that is coaching their kid, but overall we work well together, and we've gotten this far, and I'm just grateful for her.
That's awesome.
Mikiah is a Leo. And so
Yes.
all the Leo women that I know, when they walk into the room, you know that they are in the room for certain. Tell us, I want to talk about your fighting style a little bit. What I noticed when you first start, I was watching a fight, I don't know, I think it was in Mexico. And you have a different presence when you come into the ring. You're just 24 years old now, but it's all business for you. It doesn't seem like the moment is ever too big for
Oh
you.
yeah.
How do you go about approaching the fights, and why do you seem to be so centered that when you're there?
I believe it all boils down to just having the utmost confidence in myself. I give 120% training at all times. I go in every fight with the confidence and knowing that I gave my all in training. And I believe that's where a lot of the confidence comes from. And, I just believe in myself. I believe that anything I put my mind to, I can achieve. And I truly believe that right now I'm living in my purpose, and this is what I'm meant to be doing. A lot of people, they say, hey, why boxing? You could be doing anything else. And I just believe that I'm on the right path, and everything is unfolding for me. And I just know that I can feel that I'm meant to be boxing, and I'm meant to be doing this.
When did you know?
I believe that, I like I said, I had my first fight at 9 years old, and I didn't fight again after that until I was about 13. And I feel like I always took it serious, but I would say at about 17, 18, I knew that, I wanted to be a professional fighter, and the whole Olympics thing came around, and that didn't end up working out my way. But I believe that it was a blessing in disguise, and everything kind of unfolded in a crazy way, and it put me exactly where I'm at today, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything.
Were you one
Now,
of those
oh,
people
go
who
ahead.
kind
Sorry.
of like, did you visualize this, or did it just start coming to you?
I can say, like, when I was younger, I always had this dream of going pro. It was like, hey, I want to be a professional boxer. I was so set on at one point when I was about 18 years old that I wanted to go pro. Like, I wanted to go pro. I was so adamant about it. And a lot of people around me were like, hey, like, you're young, you should just stay amateur and, build the experience up. And, I did, and I started competing nationally, and I started winning everything. And I was fighting constantly. I was winning everything, and then come around, then the Olympics come, and it was never like a dream of mine when I was a child to say, hey, like I want to go to the Olympics. That was never really a dream of mine. But as I got older and the Olympics were 4 years away, I'm like, you know what, I'm very
Mm.
young. Why don't I just wait? Like I have a real shot at doing this. Like I believe that I can make the Olympic team. And like I said, Olympic trials come around and things didn't end up working out my way. But like I said, I believe that was just a blessing in disguise to lead me to where I'm at right now.
We spoke on them just a little bit earlier, but your guys, Jamel and JC, checking in here, saying they're
Yeah.
tuning in, giving it a listen and everything. So I did want to circle back. Having guys of that caliber, JC and both Jamel, world champion and everything in your corner since day one. How important is that, and has that been, from the very beginning, to have that mentorship, to have that knowledge and base behind you as you start navigating the world of professional boxing?
It's been great. Like I always say, I appreciate Jamel and JC so much because I know in the boxing world it's cold blooded and you have to have the right team behind you. You can be super talented, you can have all the skills in the world, but I believe if you don't have somebody guiding you and knowing the business side of boxing, you're really
Mm.
not going to get anywhere. And Jamel and JC have from day one we just clicked. Like I feel like it was destined to be. We're on the same page from the start, and now we're kind of here, and I couldn't be more thankful.
You grew up in Niagara Falls, and for some folks who don't know, that's basically Buffalo.
Yeah, they basically, yeah.
Western New York. Fun fact, I actually competed in Empire State Games too in track and field. So
Oh
I'm a New
yeah,
Yorker. I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah,
what it
yeah.
was like to be growing up kind of in an athletic environment. What was the best thing that you learned from JC and Jamel so far?
From the best thing I learned from Jamel and JC was just, staying true to who I am and just working hard. They always tell me, everything is going to come to me at the right time. All I have to do is continue to be me, continue to be the good person that I am, train hard, and everything else is going to work itself out. And they have had my back since day one. And seeing Jamel and all his accomplishments, and he's always given me words of encouragement, and actions speak louder than words. And I believe that Jamel is a prime example of the perfect role model. And like I said, they're the best, and I'm very grateful for them.
I think Jamel's just calling me old. That's what it sounds like to me, Jeremy.
Hands off on that one, man. Hands off on that one. Well, Friday, April 23rd, you are going to step in with another very talented young lady, and Alex
Yes.
Love. Tell us a little about your opponent, what you see there, and just the lead up to this fight. What's the mentality of going up against someone who's got a pretty good resume herself?
Oh yeah, Alex Love, I know her from the amateurs. She was a standout amateur just like myself. And I'm going in that fight with the same mindset as I always have, given 100% in training. And I'm coming to fight and coming to win like I always do. All I have to do is be me. And I know when I'm at my best, I'm unstoppable. And April 23rd, I plan on being the best Mikiah.
For people who don't know, how would you describe your fighting style?
I would say, I'm very aggressive. I'm a very aggressive, high intensity fighter. A lot of people, they may seem that I'm just always aggressive, this come forward fighter, but I can box very well too. I have a good jab, good head movement, and very good counters, and I'm fast on my feet, and I feel like I have speed as well. I feel like I'm the whole package, and I can switch it up, and it all depends on what's in front of me. I feel like I adjust very well to my opponent, and it just depends on who I'm fighting, and I adjust as the rounds go on.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen her professional debut, you can Google it. It's right there on YouTube against Noli Romero, and let me tell you, you are not going to be disappointed because oh, man, I like it. I like the when you guys were clinching and you were throwing the shoulders in there, kind of that old
Oh yeah.
school man. You were working the combos, you were working the jab. I mean that is a refreshing thing because there's a lot of young fighters. They find that one thing that they're good at. Maybe they have power. Maybe, they have a good right hand or something like that. And they like to initially hide behind those things while their other talents are developing. But like you said just a second ago, you look like you're putting in some serious work, and you are a really well-rounded fighter for going into your second professional fight. That's amazing.
Right.
Who do you credit that to?
I just feel like over the years working with different coaches and being around different people, I kind of just grown into my own style. I always said as an amateur that, and everyone used to tell me as well, that I have more of a professional style, and I agree on that. I just believe over the years I kind of have grown into myself, and I'm just learning and getting better every day. And I feel like I'm not even at my best yet, and I feel like the best is yet to come, and you're only going to see more from me as the years go on.
JC here bragging on you a little bit, saying you're extremely strong for your division and your punching power is pretty crazy. Is that an accurate representation? Do you got pretty crazy punching power?
Yeah, I would say so. A lot of people that I've been in the ring with always compliment my power, and I definitely pride myself on being a very strong fighter. And yeah, I would say that statement is pretty accurate.
It's okay. We know it's weird doing media interviews, and then every once in a while you have to brag on yourself. But this is the space to do it. So that's okay. I will say it for you. She has crazy power. Don't
if it was 3-minute rounds, she would actually be like knocking people out. I mean, that's the thing with women's boxing. It's just 2 minutes. Don't actually get all the time that you need to work. And do you feel like, are you actually, which side of that argument you lie on? Is do you want 3-minute rounds?
You see, with me, I feel like the 3-minute rounds, yes, we would be able to work more, but I feel like my style of fighting, I'm a very fast starter, I'm a fast finisher. So the 2-minute rounds is not really something that bothers me much. If they said, hey, Mikiah, would you like 2 or 3? Of course, I would say 3, more time to work. But I believe my fight style complements 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Like I said, my main focus when I'm in the ring is going there and get the job done. If I feel like I can finish you early, then I'm going to do that. I feel like my style is very, very aggressive. And if I'm able to finish a fight early, then that's what we're going to go for. We don't get paid overtime. So.
This is true. I like that. That should be everybody's motto. It's like, you're not getting paid for overtime. Get your work done and get up out of there as quickly as possible.
What are you, hourly? Get out of there, man. Come on. Get out of there. Well, I am going to give one final plug for the show, and then I'll let Cece have the final question here. Friday, April 23rd on UFC Fight Pass, you're going to see an incredible all-ladies card. Ladies Fight Night card, and it's going to be headlined by Heather, the return of a great champion, Heather Heat Hardy, who we all enjoy. She is very vocal about her sport and vocal about everything, and that's why we love her and appreciate her. And if you want action from top to bottom, man, Lou DiBella and his team have put together something really, really special here, CC, and you would be remiss if you did not capture this card live and see Miss Kreps do her thing, which is going to be very aggressive from bell to bell. I have no doubt. I cannot wait. I'm so excited to watch this. Cece, I'll turn it over to you.
We're talking with Mikiah Kreps, bantamweight future star in women's boxing, and it's not even hyperbole because every time she steps in the ring, she shows you something different and kind of lives up to all of those expectations. But where can people find you? Oh wait, Jamel says he loves Heather, but Mikiah is still in the show. Watch, I'm believing it. I'm absolutely believing. In fact, so during Clarissa Shields' pay-per-view, I think it was Jamie Mitchell that was in. She's featherweight, but Jamel was tweeting saying, "I see some potential opponents for Mikiah Kreps." Did you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, we're moving on the fast route, and we don't plan to take step-up fights when we're 15-0. My mentality is, I believe in myself 100%, and I'm ready for all the big names immediately. I'm very humble, and I respect everyone outside of the ring, but I know what I'm bringing to women's boxing, and I feel like what I'm bringing is just going to be a little bit different. And as time goes on, people are going to see why I'm different.
Where can people find you? Mostly through your social media channels. Also, I noticed that you do have a clothing partnership with FTW. I love their stuff. So,
Oh
and
yes,
I
Fit
actually really
Warrior.
dig.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone can follow me at Mikiah Kreps, pretty much on everything. Instagram, Twitter, and also I made a Facebook recently too, just because everyone had one. So I was just like, hey, why not? I had one like years ago, but never really used it. So yeah, Mikiah Kreps on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And Fit Warrior brand gear.
Oh yeah, yes, Fit Warrior gear. It's the link is in my bio on Instagram, and you can purchase your Team Kreps gear as well.
Love it. Team Kreps, we cannot wait to see you do your thing and where you go from here, especially with that powerful team behind you, man.
Oh
JC
yeah.
and Jamel and these guys. Oh man, I'm excited. I mean, it's very few and far between. I'm really excited about cards, but coming off the heels of that pay-per-view and knowing what Lou DiBella and that team can do with production and everything, I know we're in store for a very, very special show. And again, folks, if you want to watch the debut fight, you owe it to yourself to watch Mikiah Kreps' debut professional fight, because she puts those damn hands on someone, and 2-piece and a biscuit, a side drink, an order of fries. She gave it all, and we are better and happier boxing fans for it. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
What?
You got something?
Before we let you go, how's the sleeve going? How's the sleeve coming?
Oh,
Have you added anything new?
No, not recently. I actually just have this little strip right there that I have to fill in, and we'll be pretty much done with it. So
people with tattoos, they're never done.
Yeah, and it's kind of finding the time in between training and fights when I can actually get it done. And my tattoo artist, he's very booked all the time, so it's been hard for me to get in, but I plan on getting it finished soon.
There you go. I always need coloring, I always need shading, always just a little bit more. And then you start out with something like that, and then you got a snake that wraps around your body for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know how it goes. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck to you. Can't wait to watch, and hope to talk to you very soon down the road.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Good luck to Mikiah. Jamel's got a fight coming up as well. Big fight for him. I feel like, they've had the man in training for like 8 months for this particular fight.
Jamel never leaves training, man. He's been in training since this time last year. He was in training, I think.
It's possible.
I don't think they let him leave the gym. I think they got him set up with a cot there. But a very exciting fight also in April.
Listen, let's tell it like there's still a ton of work to do. It's so funny to listen when Terrence Crawford is there in the gym. It's like, dang, man. Just always on each other. It's good. Iron sharpens iron. And Jamel is running as we speak.
Watching it running. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Much less
run and watch a show. The other day, looking down at my phone. I holler at the kids all the time. You cannot look at your phone while you're walking. Can't do it. And I had to lead by example. I had to model behavior.
Well, one more time, DiBella Entertainment's Broadway Boxing Ladies Fight Night, Friday, April 23rd on UFC Fight Pass. You guys are going to be able to check it out. It's going to be top to bottom. Ladies throwing down, and we're talking about oil fights. We're talking about real fighters doing their thing, whipping ass, and I'm so excited to see the progression of the things that are happening, and kind of going back to the all-female card led by Clarissa Shields, and our friend Ebony was on there. Ebony Bridges doing her thing, getting the victory, and she had a quick turnaround and a quick announcement.
Yeah,
she got a world title fight coming up now.
How about that? That's stay ready. And when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So if they call and say you want to fight for a strap, the answer is yes. Not I need a full camp.
Yeah,
So
yeah, she
yeah,
stayed ready,
congrats
and
to Ebony.
yeah, and congrats, also to just all the women on that card. Congrats to Clarissa Shields, who we had on the show just a few weeks ago. It was in very high spirits and looking forward to
Mhm.
seeing what this card could do. And it wasn't so much about numbers and what it drew and everything. It was the fact that someone finally stepped out and did it.
And she
And,
did it.
and
Took the
how
risk.
important, Cece, I mean, these are ladies that you talk to all the time, athletes that you talk to and interact with all the time. How important is that for them to just finally someone just stepped out and did it, took the chance and said, hey, you know what? Someone's got to be first, so let me go ahead and do this.
I think that it's mission critical if the goal is to advance women's boxing. Someone had to take the risk, and someone, meaning, the most prominent name in women's boxing in Clarissa Shields. They had 350 people in there, which was a sellout for that particular arena. But it's
Right.
not really about the quantity. It was just kind of the quality, and that they got out there and they did it. On the heels of that, now you've got Lou DiBella announcing a series, not just one particular pay-per-view. And so momentum is what women's fighting boxing needs, because I can't get my head around like why we don't have more women on more cards. UFC is doing it, and for
Yeah.
those who say I don't want to see women fight, yes you do. You're paying for them pay-per-views that Joanna Jędrzejczyk is on, that Amanda Nunes is on, that Rose Namajunas is on. You're paying for those cards. A
Yeah.
lot of times those women are at the top of those cards. So it's the act of organizing these fights and just putting it out there. Don't have to be
Right.
perfect every time. Let's just keep the momentum going. And I tell you what, keep an ear out for Mikiah Kreps. She is being developed the right way.
Right.
Like she's not fighting at a taqueria somewhere,
Yeah.
like no shade, but she's not. Like they
Well, what you were saying there,
actually,
it's so. Oh, sorry, you were breaking up. Are you there? Okay, yeah, okay. You were breaking up there just for a second. Sorry, but it goes back to a few months ago we had the legend Christy Martin, and Christy was telling us about her training growing up and getting into the sport and why she got in and what the obstacles she faced, the harassment she faced in the beginning of it, which a lot of women in that profession still face. But at least you're starting to see the women that are coming through that are, if you give them the proper training, if you
yep.
give them the even tools, if you give them backing and stuff like that, you can get quality entertainment. It's not backyard brawls. It's not what were just the sign up and fight cards? What was that? Not King of the Ring, but whatever. It's not those cards where you just sign out, and just anyone
Right.
could do it and just jump right in there. When you see the Mikiah Kreps and people like that are being brought up the right way through the sport, quality. You start getting quality in return, and it's a really exciting time in women's boxing, but there's so much further to go for them. And on that, of course, not taking anything away from Clarissa Shields, who became the first two-division undisputed champ. That's male or female boxing.
It's her birthday today, as a matter of fact.
Is it? Is it Clarissa's birthday?
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Clarissa Shields. Two-division undisputed champ. That is just amazing. And before we go much further, do want to say our condolences to marvelous Marvin Hagler, who passed away at 66. And what a champion that he was, in and out of the ring. Just a guy that was beloved all across the sport and outside of the sport and everything. A man that so many of us grew up watching, as just one of the true pound for pound greats that boxing has ever seen.
Yeah, and I'm at a point now where men of a generation that meant a lot to me growing up are starting to pass. And so this one hit really hard. My granddaddy always talked about Marvin Hagler. I mean,
Right.
and Marvin was like a man's man, tough guy, tough, act tough, hit tough. Like he's just like a man's man, tough guy. No nonsense, Brockton, Massachusetts. That's where he was from or fighting out of anyway. But it just real, and plus it was so unexpected. And so I, like many other people, found myself running back conversations that I had in my life that were meaningful and connected to Marvin Hagler because of that. And that's one of the things that I think why we really love, sport, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It becomes a soundtrack to your life in many ways. We remember where we were at for, the latest memory is going to be, where were you when the NBA shut down?
Right.
in mid game. UGK, Vegas Golden Knights has actually a very strong connection to Las Vegas because of the incident on October 1 at Mandalay Bay. So there are all those moments, and that's what happened to me for Marvin Hagler. It's just I really started to run back conversations I had with my granddaddy, and really that became the foundation of my love for this sport.
Right. Right. And those, those wars he had became legend, and those legends became just, it became that thing that it was always compared. Other fights were always compared to, marvelous
Those
Marvin
8
Hagler
minutes.
fights. Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and that whole group of champions from the late 70s and 80s that all the greats fought each other. There's not so much of this back and forth now and taking years off from the sport and everything. These guys stepped up and threw down wherever they could find a couple of bucks and a ring. And most of the time it was out here at Caesars, and
a parking lot.
It really, and it really set the foundation that, later on kind of crumbled a little bit. But I feel that boxing's kind of rebuilding once you start getting these names to fight each other, which is, what we're getting. And hats off, kind of segued into hats off to Jessica McCaskill, who, a lot of people thought that she won a fluke fight against Cecilia the first time around, and then she goes back in again, does it again, leaves no doubt, and she was on the show a while back, and number one, let me just pat ourselves on the back here. Great shows. Great shows from Levels
coming through, man.
All these champions coming through, yeah. And you're not signing up and watching regularly. What's wrong with you? But hats off to Jessica McCaskill. And what did you? I know you watched it closely. What did you think of her performance against a legend in our time?
Yeah, that was a wild night. There was a lot going on. Because at top of the card was a whole other issue, that fight. But anyhow, Jessica, I thought she would leave no doubt this time around. I thought she was close enough to winning that fight. But it was clear to me she did win. But I just thought that she had a little bit more to go, where this fight would just take away all doubt. Cecilia Brækhus has had an incredible career. And in many ways, Jessica got an opportunity because of Cecilia. So we have to pay homage to her. But I just think that Jessica's speed and listen, she's trained by Rick Ramos. Okay. Rick Ramos will make sure you're coming out of that gym in shape. She faded a little bit in the middle rounds, which kind of what happened the first fight, but she kept that overhand right going. And that's really what helped her win. And I was hearing Rick say, you got to fight small, fight small, because that was her advantage. It made it much more difficult for Cecilia being the taller fighter. And she looked like she was a weight class above her too. Looked like they were in separate weight classes there.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed by that effort. And let's book Katie Taylor.
Let's get that Katie Taylor fight for, what is probably the number 2 spot in the pound for pound women's ranking there. Jessica McCaskill and Katie Taylor facing off. Hopefully they can get that made. And like you said, I mean, all hats off to Cecilia. I mean, 36-2 for a career. I mean, unbeaten for the longest time. I mean, I know she's probably not going to hang it up anytime soon. I'm not calling for her to. I don't
That's
think
what
she
she said. She
should.
come back.
But her legacy is secure. It's written. There's no shame in it, especially looking at the career that Jessica already has and is going to have, in my thought process and everything. So it's amazing to see no bad fights on that card either. Man. No bad fights. And no, really,
Listen.
what?
No, I was saying I like their banter. Like we don't have to have women who love each other. I think there's an expectation for these women to play nice.
Yeah.
Why? They're gonna get in a fist fight. I'm not gonna like the person who I know is gonna be tagging me upside my dome for a while. So yeah, no, I like that there's a tension there. I dig it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I look at the flack that Clarissa Shields gets for simply saying what's on her mind. And I'm not saying that male athletes don't receive a certain amount of criticism. Any athlete does. Any
Mm-hmm.
person can if people mistake your confidence with bravado. But
It's just swag.
to be
Just
in this
swag.
sport, in combat sports, you gotta have bravado. You
Right.
gotta have belief in yourself, and you gotta be able to say out loud, "Yeah, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna whip this person's ass, and I'm gonna leave with the belt, or I'm gonna continue with the belt, or whatever it is." You gotta have that in this sport. So it kills me when fight fans, and it's always the fair weather fans that are always like, "So and so needs to be humbled." What are you talking about? These are fist fights. These are people getting kicked in the face and everything. What are you talking about humbling someone? What about them makes you want them to bow down and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for believing in
Yeah.
myself and my abilities and everything." It drives me crazy when I see idiots write things like that or say things
Like
like that.
gone somewhere. I legit saw something on MMA Twitter this week, and someone was going back and forth with this one person. It was their page, and they're like, "You should be professional." This person is just a fan. Like, so there's professional fans, and so there's casual fans, there's professional fans. Like, is that a paper degree? Did you go to like virtual, like professional fan school? You got a certificate of authenticity or something. This is ridiculous.
It's really crazy, man. Fight fans are so funny. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to have another fighter, Melissa St. Ville.
Yeah.
She is also on this DiBella Entertainment card, and she's got a fun fight coming up with, known lovingly as Little Miss Tyson. She's got a attitude that's 8 times bigger than she is, and I
Kind
think
of got
she's
to.
always really fun to talk to. And so she's going to be coming up here in just a minute. You're going to want to stick around.
I
Uh,
think Melissa's like 5'4", so she's not like
no, she ain't like tiny,
too
tiny.
short. No, she's not
No.
tiny. I mean, I'm 5 feet flat-footed. Y'all would never know that. Like, you don't ever see me and not having heels on. You never know.
Uh-huh.
Even
I know.
right now, I'm standing on 3 books.
I know. You're tiny.
But so you gotta walk with a little bit of fire.
Yeah.
Keep my butt off you.
Speaking of kind of legends and fire in the sport, we saw a rematch. So many people for a while now that people have wanted with Estrada and Chocolito Gonzalez, which I believe the right fighter won. What did you think about the judge scoring that actually got a judge temporarily suspended for this wonky card that they scored?
You're damn right. It's about time. And I'm shocked. I tell you, like, I came up out of my socks shocked that they would actually suspend a judge in Texas.
In
Who's in Texas?
Texas.
Like, Texas judging is known to be more favorable towards the more aggressive come forward fighter.
Yeah.
And that fighter was Chocolatito to me. So, I mean, but the fact that like they gave him 2 rounds? I was like, in the whole fight?
Yeah.
2 rounds? just absolutely ridiculous. It is appalling. And yes, judges should have to answer for that. And I actually think it should be like public. So because it's not just the judges, y'all, like it's
Uh-huh.
these commissions and it's also sanctioning bodies that need to be more transparent so that we understand, like fighters should know what what they're up against. It's not just the dude or the woman across them anymore.
Yeah. No. And depending on the state and the commission, yeah. I mean, you're fighting an entire, and usually, and I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's been around for years. But that's what they call hometown decisions.
Yeah.
Hometown scoring, things like that. The most famous probably being Adelaide Bird, being suspended a couple years ago for her outrageous card 118 to 110 for Canelo over Triple G, which
I still right now
made it a
still
split draw. If she would have scored it right, it probably would have been in favor of Triple G, altering careers, costing people millions upon millions of dollars, all because of a weird and crappy card. He scored. I'm not saying judges are infallible; they can have bad nights, but when the scores are so widely different than the other judges that are scoring it, you're like, what fight were you watching?
And it's not just boxing. MMA is having some issues right now too.
Oh man, they've had some crazy ones.
But a lot of those judges, a lot of the C judges, who came into the fight came from boxing. So we're right back to where we were. But there's issues right now. Actually, Dana White has been very vocal about these 10-8 rounds that have been happening in UFC, which is goofy to me. If it's a 10-8 round, you need to be getting your ass whooped. Like it's like a mollywhopping. Like somebody like knocked you down and damn near out.
It's over the overcorrecting. For years they argued for 10-8 rounds when guys were obviously getting knocked down multiple times, nearly getting finished or whatever. And so they were like, these should be 10-8 rounds. And so then when it started becoming more prevalent, now we're getting 10-8 rounds for fights that are for top control with no attempts at submissions, with just a little bit of movement here and a little hammer fist, and all of a sudden it's a 10-8 round. It's overcorrecting, and the market's got to find time, right? The market's got to correct itself. But yeah, MMA faced for years and years and years finding properly trained referees, properly trained judges that could go in there and wouldn't just score it as a stand-up fight, but they had no idea what they were looking at. They're like, what are these guys rolling on the ground for? They had no idea what top position was, much less what an omoplata was. They were just like, these guys are in underwear rolling around. We don't understand what the sport is, So it's really crazy.
Robert Hoyer is probably one of the most competent judges, I think, in any combat sports organization. So because he's also a ref and a judge, and I feel like he's got a well-rounded perspective of the actual sport. And
right.
and I think that's necessary to inform you. Like, it's not something you should be learning on the job, man. Like, that's years of training. I don't know how long a judge has to be trained for in order to actually be sanctioned by a commission. But, that'd be really interesting to kind of find that out. But someone who's actually been standing in the middle of two fighters, I think is ultimately more qualified than someone who's only been sitting ringside.
Yeah. And seeing it firsthand, hearing the conversations, hearing, knowing the sport in and out, but honestly, I mean, they used to score boxing contests by just picking a guy out of the crowd and saying, you're the referee. Yeah. So, I mean, nobody's perfect. Even guys like, Herb Dean, who's considered probably the best MMA ref. He has bad nights. He's been criticized by Dana White.
Herb will get you killed some days, man.
But there's no, that's the what's my man's name? Man, Asian referee.
Which one?
Always does the heart thing. What is his name? Darn, man. Yamasaki, Mario Yamasaki.
Yeah.
That man will let you die. You got to die to get the fight call off.
Yeah, you're gonna have some white meat in your brain, Sean.
You got to have brain come leaking out the side of your ear, man, to get a fight called off by Mario Yamasaki.
Oh man, speaking of like having your brain showing, we're going to get Kamaru Usman against Jorge Masvidal again.
Right?
I mean, I guess the brains behind that is connected to Dallas and very little
Yeah.
sense because Jorge gets 2 title shots in less than a year, dog. Less than a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
won. Like when was his last? He won against Ben Askren, right? That was the flying knee. He has no win since then,
Yeah.
and was thoroughly beaten.
Thoroughly outclassed over there in on Fight Island. And yes, I mean the excuse was he didn't have a full camp, even though he was in camp and then temporarily moved himself because they couldn't come to a contract agreement, and then he was right back in it. So I don't really believe the whole full camp thing. I don't see it going any different than I don't think Jorge Masvidal, and it's no disrespect, but I don't think in this short amount of time his game has evolved to anything that Usman couldn't handle.
Look at the 2 fights he's had. I mean, Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
By those, Covington was a war, and Gilbert Burns is a legit title contender.
Right. And Gilbert Burns was a wrecking ball going into that. And Colby, despite the whole political persona that he created for himself, is a very good, well-rounded wrestling and stand-up fighter. We've seen Colby bounce back with dominant wins since that Usman fight.
Tough fight.
But you saw this war, and he gets his jaw broken by Usman, who has gone from a guy that nobody wanted to wrestle and took down Tyron Woodley and beat him up like he was nothing, to a guy that will put those damn paws on you now. And it's crazy how fast we've seen that progression with a guy like Usman, man. You're talking about and I mean this in the kindest way, but a freak athlete of a different level, man. That is a different beast, a different animal altogether. A guy that can put all those things together, your wrestling and your stand-up, as fast as he has, as good as he has been, and talk about durable. He's taken some heavy shots and just, good. I mean, Jorge Masvidal does have knockout power. There's no denying that and everything. But I don't see him catching him in a way that's going to, unless Usman just, I mean, MMA is that sport. One punch can change anything. Yeah. You can slip on that logo like they like to keep in the middle of that damn cage and everything. You see guys slip on those things all the time, and then it's a different ball game or whatever.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
But just head to head. Yeah.
On paper, Usman is a favorite. He should be the heavy favorite. But are you surprised at all that you don't see Leon Edwards immediately get that shot? There was some back and forth between him and Bilal. Unfortunately, Bilal had to the fight had to end because of the eye injury, and people were really going at Bilal because Bilal was saying that he needs to run it back with Leon, and Leon's calling for the title, and Bilal is like, "You ain't getting the title shot," and people are like, "You don't know." He was like, "I got the same manager as the champ. The manager is telling me," and then 24 hours later, this fight, the title shot is announced. So who's like the biggest loser in all of this? Leon, Bilal?
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. I think Bilal because ultimately the UFC is going to do what's best for the UFC. It is not rankings are there just to shut fans up or get them talking and focused on something else. This Masvidal fight is for money, and that's it, and that's the UFC game, right? I mean, because there is no
sell out Jacksonville.
There's no world governing body, kind of like these boxing organizations that say, okay, these are the next in line. You got to defend your title against a mandatory, or you got to, there's different hoops they got to jump through. Mm-hmm. Then you come to MMA where one company basically runs everything, and they say, well, we make up the rankings, but the rankings don't really matter anyway. So, unless they're negotiating a contract, and then the rankings matter. Or if they're denying someone a fight or a chance at the title, the rankings matter. But if the guy is popular enough, we've years ago, Chael Sonnen, these guys who Chael talked himself into 2 title fights that he probably, first one, whatever, that was a really good fight. Second one, and the title fights against John Jones and, these, there was no need for any of that stuff, but dollars make sense. Dollars make sense to the UFC. The dollars make fights in the UFC. We have retired Henry Cejudo calling out Max Holloway, and Dana White's totally entertaining it. He's like, "Oh yeah, that could be a fun fight. I think fans would pay for that one." They're not even in the same freaking division. But Cejudo's a former champion. He's got a ton of following. Max has a ton of following. It could be something that makes each guy a little bit of money. But ultimately, in the
TJ's
rankings
coming
of
back
UFC,
for a title shot. So
TJ's coming back. Everybody's coming back. Ain't nobody retiring, man.
Aljamain Sterling coming back to a title shot. That's the crazy part. Is like compete dirty. You
dirty, and you come back and you get a title shot right off the bat. Dana sometimes gets like that. He gets off of those shareholder calls, and he starts making title fights like he's Oprah. You get a title fight. You get a title fight. You get a title fight. He's got shareholders to answer to. It's not a publicly traded company, but they have investors. And those investors want return on that capital. And you're talking about Hollywood actors, and you're talking about what that company that's called Silver Lake or whatever, whoever actually put together that deal. And they want money. They don't give a shit about rankings and everything else. What makes money? We made up a belt. We literally made up a belt and let 2 guys fight over it, and then just threw the belt away because people thought it was going to be an actual fucking belt. They just made it up. You can make up another belt tomorrow.
I mean, that's a good question for Usman. Like, is the BMF on the line? Like, if it's only fair, if you're putting up your belt, why does he have to put up, his? Like,
he's the lineal BMF champion by default. Okay, Jorge won it. It's never lost it, and then he got his ass whipped, and so it's Usman is the lineal BMF champion.
That is hilarious. Look, I'm so breaking it down just like that to him. I'm like, do you follow this?
Yes. Yes. Break it down to him. Let's have him on here because my reasoning is sound. He needs to have that BMF belt. You know what? Here's the crazy thing. At first, okay, it's totally a made-up gimmicky belt or whatever. But if they actually put that in play, and anyone, you got these guys jumping in divisions and out of divisions and everything else, you actually put that in play, I think that would be a good, legitimate thing to have. A lineal BMF champion. If I don't know, if Israel Adesanya decides he's bored, and goes down and beats up Usman, takes that belt, he's the BMF guy. And now you got a guy who's jumping around from light heavy to heavy, and you can have that belt go all kinds of ways, man. And I think that would be beautiful.
I think they need to have it on the women's side too.
Well, come on, who's going to have it besides Amanda? Who's going to have it besides Amanda? She got the unofficial BMF.
Bailey, you can put her name in. There's a couple of champions in there who actually could compete for the strap. So I wouldn't be mad at it. But I think there should be 2. I think there should be the ladies BMF and the men's BMF. And that's what they should do.
Well, finally, what do you think about Aljamain Sterling? Do you think it was a little bit of an acting job? Yes, Peter Yan did throw an illegal knee, a hell of a illegal knee.
Yeah.
Cost himself the belt in a stupid. Did you just start doing MMA? Because I think you have some experience.
It was really bizarre because Khabib had said right away to DC and the broadcasting team that they told him to do. He asked them, and then they ran it back. You heard it on ESPN, do I throw the knee now? And it was just weird, right? Why would you ask?
Yeah.
Do you throw it now? Unless it was part of the game plan to if it gets close enough, we're going to tell you to throw it. Just when he comes up. And maybe they were trying to time it. I don't know. I'm a little bit disappointed in how Aljamain has handled some of this. dancing around and celebrating with the belt. Like, it's really it's a problem with the rules more so than anything. I just don't think the belt should have changed hands. It should be vacant. They run it back because you didn't earn it. You did not earn it.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think yes, he is the champion. Yes, Peter Yan did throw that illegal knee. Yes, by rule, the proper things happen. Aljamain just, I think he only hurt himself because he didn't want to win that way. He didn't want to do that. And then he fully embraced it and fully was like, well, never mind. I have the belt now, so it doesn't matter how I want it or whatever. So I'm the champ, whatever. Whatever. You're the champ.
Come see me now. Gotta come see me. I'm the champ.
Now you got to come fight, when I tell you to fight and everything. So, hey, whatever. We'll see when they run it back immediately. We are now ready to speak with our next. I was thinking about this stuff earlier. Melissa St. Ville, always entertaining, always a great fighter to watch on these cards, and she's going to be featured on this Lou DiBella Broadway Entertainment Ladies Fight Night, which is going to be so freaking badass, and I can't wait to see it. I've said it like 4 times, but I'm going to say it again because it looks really great, and I can't wait to talk to this champion right here. There she is, all smiles. She's ready.
Hello.
Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Heck yeah.
Well, Melissa, we mentioned this card coming up on April 23rd. Of course, you're on it. You're going to be doing your thing, stepping between the ropes, ready to put those hands on someone. How are you feeling? You look like you're all smiles, so I guess camp is going pretty well.
Yes, camp is going good. I'm excited, coming back into the ring after this pandemic, so it feels good to be back, and I'm just ready.
Nice. And we, of course, are coming off of the first all-women's pay-per-view headlined by Clarissa Shields. A lot of very talented ladies on this card and everything. And now DiBella Entertainment releases this, which is going to be a quarterly series with all women fighters. How does it feel? And did you get to watch that pay-per-view and see the ladies throw down? And how does it feel to be a part of something like this that's going to be just for women boxers?
It feels absolutely wonderful because, as I was saying years ago and over again, I always said that women's boxing been popping. It's always been popping. If they would have gave us women the same attention as they're giving now, back then the world would have seen how amazing and entertaining we are. Because, like I said over and over again, every time when somebody goes to a boxing match and they get the bout sheet and they see one female on the sheet, they're like, "When the girls coming out? When the girls coming out? We want to see the girls. We want to see the girls." So it's the same energy. It's the same thing. When I started boxing, I was, the woman that inspired me that I saw, Alicia Ashley, Chevelle Hallback, Layla McCarter, Melinda Cooper, the list goes on. Veronica Simmons, Tansy Daniels. These are the girls that I seen, that I was watching. So these women were amazing. Women's boxing was already at its height. You know what I'm saying? We just needed the attention. It is now people are noticing how amazing we are. So it's like, you're late to the party, but I'm happy that I'm on this card. I'm happy that I'm on this card. I'm happy, that I'm finally getting a chance, to be a part of, something great. And I'm just happy. Hey, shout out to all the female fighters.
Now, we know that, I watch you quite a bit on social media. You are so positive. Given everything that you've been through, you don't know everything. She's been Google her, okay? But Melissa is the phoenix. You've been able to rise out of a lot of turmoil. Grew up in Haiti, get to the United States, get bullied. Now, all fighters, okay, the impetus to your fighting career is in one or two places. Is either in the street or gym class. So yours had something to do with gym class. From
The,
what I read, there was a
the
girl that was
Michael
bullying you.
the microphone is in and I couldn't really hear you.
Oh, crap. Can you hear me, Jeremy?
It's a little low.
Let me see.
There we go.
Melissa, how about now? Am I still going in and out?
Yeah, I can hear you clear now.
Okay. I was saying the beginning of all boxing careers is in one or two places, either in the street or in gym class. Yours had something to do with gym class. Were there some girls bullying you and that kind of started you on your way to learning how to defend yourself and then leading into your boxing career?
Oh yes, gym class. I just got my hair pressed with the hot comb, getting ready for picture day. And I was in gym class, and this girl named Latoya, she used to call me like, her name was Latoya. She used to call me like Mighty Mouse, Mickey Mouse. Everybody used to make fun of my voice. So I was like, ha ha ha, okay, Big Papa, because she was a big girl. But everybody called her Big Papa. But I guess when I called her Big Papa, it was like, oh hell no. So I went to the bathroom and I had my pink lunchbox and I was sitting there talking to my friends like, yeah, you know what, you're gonna have to snack or what, blah blah blah. And then Toya came in the bathroom and she went and pushed me. Didn't even say nothing. She pushed me. My body went back like this. Woof. I went back into the lockers. I said, what? Oh no. Bang, bang, bang. I beat that girl down. I had my right hand on her head and hit her with the left. Boom, 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 boom. And then knee in her. Bah, bah, bah. Then my friends came. It was like, Melissa, get off her. So then the teacher was about to come in the bathroom. I let her go. I opened my right hand, had all her little bit of hair in my hand. She only had this much hair though, but I had that little bit in my hand. And we had to go speak to the principal. And I remember that day, I begged the principal. I said, yo, please do not call my house. I don't care. I will do after school. I will write 100 words on the board. I will not fight. But please do not call my mother. Because, I came up in an abusive household. My mother used to have her foot in my ass. Okay, I wasn't getting regular beatings. I was already catching punches in the first grade. Okay, uppercuts, hooks, early. So I didn't want that. So I remember begging. I was like, look, I'm sorry. Let me say sorry to her. I'm sorry, Toya. I'm sorry. Look, please do not call my mother. Do not send a letter. Just I would try to avoid fighting. But I only fought when I have, when they put hands on me, because I'm not an aggressive person. But if you try to come for me, I'm gonna get in that behind.
She's not fit to be punked, y'all. Let's just get that straight.
What happened?
Jeremy?
What happened after that? What Latoya? Did you guys end up feuding, for the next few years, or she let you be because she didn't want to catch that ass whooping?
What? The audio is echoing.
Oh, so sorry. How's it now? Is it a little bit better?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jeremy. So I think they're messing with you, Melissa.
It's still echoing. It sounded like the song "Computer Love."
It's not.
Oh, you go ahead, Cece.
Yeah, it is not. Well, in addition to your boxing, you've made it your mission to bring awareness to autism. You work with a young lady that you're very close to. And can you tell us a little bit about how that started for you? How did you start working with her, and why is bringing awareness to autism so important to you?
Oh, I started working with her because Rafael Vasquez used to be a fighter, and he was also signed with Lou DiBella. So
Oh, we lost her. Hopefully she come back. I mean, she might come back with a better connection. After that, like, look, stuff be happening in the gym, in the bathrooms, man. Don't fool around in there.
Oh my gosh. There we go.
Oh, I lost you guys.
Oh,
There
that's
you go.
okay. We're found again. How's the connection? Can you hear us again?
You guys, yeah, I can hear you guys a little. You can hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Sure can. Loud and clear.
You can hear me?
Go ahead. Yeah. Can you hear us?
It's like staticky.
It's static.
You know what? She's probably having that issue that I did a few months back. Remember, what the heck did I have to do? I think did I have to do an update or something like that? It's something to do with the browser. Are you using Safari? Use Safari on your phone? I think that's what it is. Because it sounded just like that for me. It would go in and out.
Yeah.
Dang, we had this story. It was good too.
The internet gods are never very kind to us.
I'm starting to think it's not no internet god. It's like an internet Satan.
Mm-hmm.
I switched earbuds. Like, is this one sound a little bit clearer to you than the other one did?
Yeah.
I don't know. You know the rule around here. I'm the sports nista. I'm not the tech nista. Like, I probably went to the settings in the other ear. So,
Right.
whoopsie. So hopefully we'll be able to get her back. I'm positive that it's that goofy Safari issue. Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's got to be. Oh, there she is.
Yes, I'm back.
All right. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. So, CC, be quick while we have her.
Well, no, you were telling us the story about how you got involved with autism, with actually promoting autism awareness.
Yes. So, Rafael Vasquez actually, started it because he used to be in the ring with all this autism stuff, for Kayleen and doing fundraisers. So I was in the gym one day and he had a pair of autism socks. I said, before I even knew about autism, I was like, oh, I like those socks because, everybody know I like all the colors and stuff. And he was telling me this is autism. My daughter has autism. So, long story short, Raphael, started boxing me. Started training me. And I said, let's continue this fight for autism because he had retired because her mom had passed away and, he couldn't fight no more because he had to, take care of the kids. I said, you know what? Oh, let's keep this fight for autism going, for all the parents around the world, that's living with this, because it's not just a month. It's, they live with this every day and seeing, just everything that he goes through, raising her and everything. And I help with her also, and the reason why, I put so much into it because he takes the time out when it's time to train me and other fighters. That's time away from Kayleen, and I'm like, this is me wanting to give back and educate myself and other people about children on the spectrum, because they're all different levels and they're very smart and they're very intelligent. And I feel like if people really give them a chance and don't just look at them like, oh, some don't speak or whatever. No, because these kids could really have the answer to change the world and what's going on right now. You just got to give them a chance. And that's what I do with Kayleen. I give her a chance. I love her a lot. And I want to just, always bring awareness to it and speak up for the ones who can't speak and let the other parents feel like somebody have their back, somebody understand. Because I really had to be in Rafi's shoes and other parents' shoes in the boxing world that do have kids with autism to see what they were going through. Like, for instance, there's another coach in the boxing world. He has a son with autism and, they all have their own thing and he yells, and one day we all went out to go eat and I seen another group of people looking at him weird and it hurt me, it's like, obviously you see this kid, is a special needs child, but it doesn't mean you have to look at them some type of way or anything like that. Like when I bring Kayleen to the park, there's other kids, they'll talk to her, and then when they're like, how come she's not talking back to me? And I was like, it's not, she's just not verbal. She understands you. She just can't, respond back to you, and I just see how other people's reactions are, and it's a little hurtful, so I just want people to see that they're humans. Don't look at them like they're aliens, because they feel that. They can feel when you're looking at them or some type of way or anything like that. They're human just like us. They feel, they cry, they have everything. They may not show it the way we do, but they have all of those senses, and I just want to show the beauty of the spectrum, the good, the good side, and, the challenging sides of it. And, just to educate people on the puzzle pieces and the different spectrums and just show them the loving part. That's how I'm always showing like videos with Kayleen, with her trying to be verbal, because she tries. She really tries, and just to show people that you can really connect with a child or a person that's on the spectrum. You just have to go at their pace. And I understand that, because I'm the same way with boxing. Not everybody learns the same way. My coach could tell me a combination like, left hook, right hook, body shot. That might be too much for me to grab. You know what I'm saying? But if you tell me in a way, you tell me in where I can understand, all right, jab, jab, come back with it, I will get it. You know what I'm saying? You just have to go with how I think, how I learn different combinations. And then the same thing with these, with people on the spectrum. So I get it.
Mm. Why, I guess, I mean, you talked about your feelings about it, but, in your own words, why is it important for them to understand that, to I guess, educate other people around them, and the society at whole, that just like you said, they're human beings just like us.
Yeah, I know we live in a judgeful world, but I want people, before they judge them, just take the time. You know what I'm saying? There's some, like, for instance, there's Andre Rosette. He's a coach. He trains Edgar Berlanga. He has a son on the spectrum. AJ speaks. AJ is very intelligent, and the last time I seen AJ I was in my early 20s. I just seen AJ last year, and I was 36, and he remembered who I was. And remember, I got a whole new haircut and everything, and I was just like, wow, usually kids, don't, somebody for that long, and just for him to remember who I was just like that, it just showed me, like, their memory is like to another place. Because he was a little boy when I seen him, and I met him when I just started boxing. and the same love he gave me, in the beginning of my career, is the same love he gave me now, and he's an adult, and it just is a special love, and I want people to see that and experience that. If they have a family member with somebody on the spectrum or
Dang it. I meant to ask where she is. It's
you in that place that doesn't have internet.
Yeah, you're in that place that doesn't.
Kicking me out. Y'all keep kicking me out.
Yeah. Where are you? Where are you training?
I'm at Gleason's.
One more time. You're where?
Gleason's.
Gleason's?
Oh, okay. All right. So you're on the East Coast. Yeah, it's the internet catching up to us. It may be over here on the West Coast. That could be it. But you're an amazing advocate, and you're always so positive. Like I had mentioned, you've come through a lot of challenges, just like a lot of other boxers. Do you feel like kind of what you went through? I know you were in the group home in Haiti. You mentioned kind of your relationship with your mom. Do you feel like you were ready to face a pandemic in a different way than a lot of other people, because you'd already faced so many challenges?
Oh yeah, the pandemic didn't, it wasn't nothing for me, I lived in Haiti. So
Ain't nothing.
I was in a group home in Haiti, So when I came back to America, I appreciated everything. I didn't take nothing for granted. I appreciated, 24-hour light, running water. I could wash my clothes in a washing machine. I could have, my own bathroom, toilet paper. Yeah, the group home was pretty rough. So this pandemic had nothing for me.
Well, you coming out of the pandemic on the winning side because you've got this fight coming up. What do you think people should expect out of you in your next fight?
Oh, just an exciting fight. I know Olivia. We had an exhibition years ago in Peru when she was trying to promote her fight with Kina. So I know Olivia has been around and she fought great fighters, and I know she's coming to fight. I know she's a tough fighter, but I'm also tough too, and I'm good. So it's gonna be really exciting.
It's gonna be cracking. We had Mikiah Kreps on just about an hour ago, and we talked to Clarissa as well. There's a group of American women who seem to be carrying the sport of boxing forward. Do you feel like there's a sisterhood amongst female boxers in the United States? Are you all still trying to reconnect with each other?
No, there is. I feel like there is a sisterhood with us. Like, for instance, Mary McGee. My last fight, we fought on her card, and I was just so happy that she, put that together, and she wanted me to fight on the card. Because she was just, she just became a world champion, and she didn't have to share the spotlight with none of us. She came together, and then she was just like, "Now I want to have Christina, Melissa, I want to have these girls on the card," and she shared her spotlight with us. So there is a sisterhood. I thought that was just really nice. It was a good look, and I'm always supporting the women. Shouting them out, making sure they're good. Friends, Sean Cruz, what I'm saying, Clarissa, everybody, Tansy, and then all the other girls that came before me. Yeah, there is. If we're in the same city, we all get together. If we had to fight, it's like, hey, girl, woohoo,
Oh, that's your ass though if I see you, right? Might be friends, but I'm gonna bust your ass. I saw you shout out Clarissa today for her birthday. How important do you think Clarissa is for women's boxing in the United States? Which not just for her pay-per-view, but the fact that she says what she says the way she says it.
I think it's a beautiful thing, and then and plus being a black woman too. What I'm saying, I'm a black woman, so she is a reflection of all black women. So seeing her achieve this and bringing you to the United States 2 gold medals and being undisputed champ, I think that is a great thing. She's definitely going to be in history. What I'm saying, so I'm really proud of all her everything that she accomplished. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and she deserves more. She deserves more. She really accomplished a lot.
Well, Melissa St. Ville, you are the co-featured bout for DiBella Entertainment's Broadway Boxing. It's going to be live on UFC Fight Pass. You guys are going to want to tune in Friday, April 23rd. Yeah, I want to say thank you for your time. I'm going to give Cece the last questions here, but thank you so much. You are lightning in a bottle, and the positivity is overflowing. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to see you get in there and do some work. I could just sit here and listen to you all day, just talk about
give this woman a show already. God damn it. Give her a show.
Well, check me out on American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, do you know when it's going to air?
Well, I do my first run in 2 weeks.
Man, Melissa, American Ninja Warrior, she's be cooking. She's liable to bust out a fashion show on you at any given time. It is, before we let you go, I want to tell people to follow you on Twitter and Instagram, any other place that you want to mention.
Yes, everybody, you can follow me on Instagram at Killer underscore Mel, KILLER_Mel, MEL. My Twitter at Melissa Saintville. My Facebook at Melissa X Saintville. My Snapchat Saintville Melissa. Yeah, Saintville Melissa. My TikTok. I don't remember, but I just posted. But yeah, you can follow me on those.
And the last thing is, we couldn't have you on and not take advantage of how empowering and how positive you are. We are until March 31st. It is International Women's Empowerment Month, but actually around here, that's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all the way through December. What would you say to women who might be struggling with some challenges right now? What has helped you get through the tough times that you think somebody else could be helped with as well?
Let me tell you. It's like Captain Planet says, the choice is yours. You either gonna be a prisoner of your past, or you're gonna wipe those tears and get up and move forward with whatever your goal is. Because I could be sitting down like, oh my God, my mother tried to kill me, my father don't like me, my mother hate me. I could be crying about all this stuff, but I'm not gonna keep those shackles on me. I'm gonna just move forward and just keep pushing. So that would be my advice. I am dealing with trauma at the moment. I am getting counseling at the moment. So I would say get whatever is gonna help you. It's gonna be counseling, to talk to somebody about it. But do not be a prisoner. Get those chains off and keep moving. Just leave it and do what's good for you. Love yourself first. Stay positive. And if you need somebody to talk to, you can always DM me. I will be here to listen and give you advice because I've been there, so I understand.
We are so fortunate that you took the time to come and say hi to us. Good luck to you on the 24th and any time before and after that too.
Well, what happened? The microphone was going.
Yeah. It's a goofy stream, I think. Listen, how about this?
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye, Melissa. I love it.
Cannot be contained. Cannot be contained.
Absolutely. And this is just me the entire time.
Yeah,
I can just listen to her talk.
I'm still back to the whole had to beat the girl down in the bathroom.
Yeah, I still got questions from the first story, but that's okay. We'll save that for another time.
Yeah, man. She's like,
Jared, she has a very
unique
voice.
Piece of a biscuit.
Yeah, if you missed the bathroom story, you might not want to tease her about that voice.
No. She's just a unique individual. 34 years old. Definitely not a prospect in the boxing game, but still around to teach some folks some lessons. And good grief, she got a few to tell.
Yeah, she's got an amazing story, and you definitely shouldn't judge her on the surface level. Go and check her story out. She's overcome so much, growing up in a group home in Haiti, making the transition over here, growing up then in Brooklyn, and kind of an abusive relationship with her mother, and then all the things that she's overcome, and even we won't go into it, but because it's kind of old news, but even a situation with Roger Mayweather a few years ago, another unfortunate situation, and just everything that she's gone through. And she's 13, 4-4, and she's dynamite. She's dynamite in a 10 pounds of dynamite in a 5-pound sack. There you go.
Listen, you ain't gonna find many boxers more fit than Melissa. She's another one who's about to sell the weigh-in. So if you know when that weigh-in is, you should probably watch that weigh-in.
Bro, yeah. I mean, we give props to our friend Ebony Bridges all the time for her fitness level when she comes in to weigh in and everything. But Melissa Saintville is also one of those women that just one of those athletes, I should say, that is just. I mean, she got like a 19 pack. That's an extra. She got an extra ab muscle somewhere that I have a keg. I have a 6-pack.
Mine are gone missing. You know, the outdoors fitting to open up again. You know, and I've been just slacking my pimping for the past couple of months. I was just like, I came up with a new term, bounce. When you're supposed to be running in the front, but instead you bouncing too much in the back. Trying to turn that R, that B into an R. Let's see if I can do that before outside open up officially this summer.
There you go, folks. Start getting outside, hit that pavement, get that running before it gets too hot, and you wish you would have gotten in shape.
Crap, yeah. It'll be 90 degrees in about a week.
Well, that's our show. Thank you to our guest, Melissa Saintville, Mikiah Kreps earlier. Thank you to Jamel Herring and JC. What is JC's last name? Casares. There you go. For helping to set us up. Sorry, JC. I had a memory thing. It happens when you get old. Thank you for setting that up for us. And thank you all for tuning in, watching, leaving the comments, sharing the show. Our guys, Ralph and Mike, we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Our guy, MP, also tuning in there. We'll see you next week, right? See you next week? Yeah, we'll come back next week. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do it again. We might talk some fights or something like that. How about that?
Have your corned beef and Guinness.
Yeah. All right there, TC. We're watching you. TC is just a really elongated leprechaun. Did you know that about TC Martin? All right. We'll talk to you next time.